Today we are going to look at developmental update number 8, which they are saying crafting orders and party stances. Hopefully this will contain a little bit more information than what they just have listed there. I don't have a great optimistic approach for what's coming through when you just see stuff that's already kind of implemented to the game. So without further ado, let us run through it.
Greetings, Warriors of Calradia. With 1.6.0 available in beta and 1.5.10 on its way to live soon, we thought it'd be a good time to share another development update to discuss the latest changes to the game. So, here we are, Development Update 8. Let's do it! First up, we have a new campaign intro video that helps to bring you up to speed with the recent history of Calradia and establish the setting as you set forth on your adventure. You'll need to start a new campaign if you'd like to experience the video in all its glory, or if you're too invested in your current playthrough, you can watch it here on our YouTube channel instead.
When this came out, it was nice to see. It wasn't anything super special, but it was an okay thing. Once again, this is 1.5.10, so it's nothing really new. A nice, neat little addition art-wise, but nothing out of the extraordinary.
If you do decide to start a new playthrough, make sure to check out the new campaign difficulty presets, which provide you with some helpful suggestions for the game's difficulty settings. Newer players may want to consider starting out with the freebooter or warrior settings, which represent easy and normal respectively, while more experienced players may wish to opt for the more difficult Bannerlord preset. These presets are accompanied by a number of additions and changes to the difficulty options that allow you to further tailor the game's difficulty to your liking.
This is another one of those presets. They're okay. I mean, it's still nothing special. Not sure really why they really needed to include it. All you have to do is just set it easy or difficult. The Iron Man mode is okay. It's kind of quit without saving how Warband was. So, it's all right.
A new player character visual was added to the save load screen that helps to remove some of the burden from your memory when it comes to recalling characters from your save files, especially if you have multiple ongoing playthroughs. However, please note that you will need to load and save any existing save files for this update to take effect.
Now, this is probably going to be one of the best things about this, as, of course, loading and saving is something that takes quite a bit of time and can take up memory. So, this, I think, is something that is very welcome while only being small. I still think it's a pretty outstanding issue.
Next up, we have a fairly significant change to the character progression system. This change removes the character level effects when calculating the learning rate, meaning that increasing your character level will no longer affect learning rates, giving you much more freedom and control when it comes to developing your character.
This is something that I had touched on, and I just got done experimenting with on my trader to get to 300, and I think it was approximately 25% quicker I was able to get to 300. I have the entire series. It's a 5-episode playlist of how I got to 300 now on the new leveling system. So it is pretty good. I also kind of explain how the learning rate works and how you can figure all that out. Very welcome change to help people level quicker. I still think there are some skills that need to be adjusted, but all in all, a very, very good mechanic that they implemented. And I do have to give Tail World kudos for that.
A whopping 36 new settlement scenes have been added to the game, with 23 villages, 3 castles and 10 towns available for you to explore and conquer. Unfortunately, there are a few too many to showcase in this video, but you can find more info on the scenes in the 1.5.10 patch notes, which you can access from the link in the video description below.
To me, the scenes aren't that important. I know there are some people that do like art and visual concept. For me, it's not a huge issue. It's something that's aesthetically could be pleasing to me, as long as it does not interfere with the game and how the memory usage is calculated and doesn't cause that many memory leak problems when you enter specific settlements. Like there is one in Botania which is extremely bad for frame rates. Then I personally don't mind it.
Locating raw materials is now much easier in 1.6.0 with the addition of production icons to village nameplates. The icons can be seen at any distance, meaning that you can find whatever resource you are looking for directly and conveniently on the campaign map.
This is a nice little feature that was added. I don't think it's that major, and I do know where most of the icons are as I've played a lot, but for people that haven't played that much, I don't think it's that terrible of an issue in that it could actually help people out to find what they're looking for pretty quickly. So, all in all, I think it's a nice little addition.
Meaning that you can find whatever resource you are looking for directly and conveniently on the campaign map. Taking an Oath of Fealty was made more rewarding in 1.5.10 with the introduction of a welcome gift from your new liege. You can expect to receive special gear and elite units upon bending the knee and joining each faction for the first time.
This was a neat little thing that they put in. They give you a few troops, and they do give you a pretty decent item from the faction that you join. This weapon in particular, as you see right there, I believe that is one that you can use as a civilian weapon for doing prison break. And I believe for the Kuzak, you get a step war bow, which I think is the right below a noble bow. So it's a nice little addition to it. Nothing major, but I do think it's a nice little added thing that they put in.
Just before you put those shiny new elite troops and gear to the test, you might want to check out the updates to the Kingdom Diplomacy War tab for a more detailed overview of the wars you are currently engaged in. Alongside the additions and changes to the Kingdom comparison bars, a new tab has been added that allows you to see recent events from a selected conflict, giving you a better idea of how each war is progressing.
This was a pretty nice addition. The recent events, definitely not bad. So you can see stuff that has been happening in case you miss it without having to press enter and scroll back up. Personally, for me, what I think is the most important without a doubt is up here. And that is the showing of clans. To see how many clans that a kingdom has without having to go through the encyclopedia, to me, I think is a great feature. That is something that I love to see because you can get a real test of how powerful somebody is by how many clans they have. So that is a very much a welcome addition.
After checking out the Kingdom Wars tab, you may wish to consider making use of the new party stance system that allows you to assign a general stance to subordinate parties to influence their behaviour on the campaign map. These stances are defensive, aggressive, and neutral. With defensive, parties will refrain from initiating hostile actions towards enemy settlements and will tend to focus more on patrolling and seeing off any threats within their own territory. With aggressive, parties will be much more inclined to seek out confrontation and take the war to the enemy. And with neutral, parties will be left uninfluenced while making these decisions.
This in particular, I do have to say, is one of the best things that they have done. If you did not want your other clan members' parties attacking villages all the time and losing all that relation, that was one of the most frustrating things for people. So I do think that that is probably one of the greatest things that they have done in quite a long time. And they did listen to the community.
Another 1.5.10 update that gives you much greater control over your clan parties is the addition of wage limits. This allows you to limit the wages of all your clan parties and garrisons to prevent them from over-recruiting and maintaining too many troops.
This also is a very welcome addition. However, I'm still not 100% sure how they've gotten things to work. I have heard reports of people saying that when they do get to that wage limit, that they could still recruit, but that they would recruit and then they would drop higher tiers. I don't know if that has been fixed yet, but that is something I've heard people say. So they end up having a whole group of tier ones instead of having just 50 tier fours. So I'm not sure if they've corrected that problem yet. But if they do have that problem corrected, then absolutely being able to limit your wages, not only in a party, but also in a garrison, is definitely a welcome change.
If overseeing a kingdom isn't really aligning with your current goals, you can use the new ABDICATE leadership button on the kingdom screen to trigger a leadership election, freeing you up to explore other avenues, like becoming a simple blacksmith perhaps.
Once again, not a terrible thing to do. If it's like if you become a vassal and you decide that you're just not able to, you just want to go back and, be solo again. You leave the, kingdom that you're in, and being able to abdicate the throne to go ahead and just say, no, I want to take a step back for a bit. Well, not a tremendous thing. It's definitely not bad.
Over in 160, the crafting system has been greatly expanded with the addition of crafting orders. Notables and nobles will now post production orders for different weapons in the orders window of the smithy, and it is left for you to create a design to satisfy their requirements. You'll be rewarded with crafting experience, research points for unlocking new weapon parts, relations, and gold for successfully completing a contract, with additional bonuses and penalties being applied for exceeding expectations or under-delivering. This update is accompanied by a number of useful UI updates to the crafting screen, such as being able to see the smithing skill value of your companions, an indicator for newly unlocked pieces, and the ability to hide locked items.
This was a pretty welcome thing to see at first glance. It looked like a really, really good mechanic. However, there are some things behind the scenes. First is you're not getting as many parts to unlock. I don't know if that was intended or not. There is a thread concerning this. However, it seems like as far as smithing is concerned, not doing crafting orders, you're getting virtually nothing, even with Curious Smith. Curious Smelter is okay for it, but it does seem that now smithing without doing crafting orders is taking approximately twice as long to unlock every part, which I could do it in about 3 hours, maybe pushing 4. It is now seeming like it's pushing closer to 8 hours to unlock every smithing part. So hopefully they do get that changed. The inability to be able to have the previous weapon that you've crafted also saved is a problem. When you hit to go ahead and smith an item, currently right now, as of this recording, it will then revert back to the default part or the default weapon. So you have to do it again. So it does really require you to control C and control V to copy and paste constantly, which has been quite surprising that we are now probably, 3 weeks into this, and we still haven't had a hotfix for it. For crafting orders themselves, I have heard people say that they have fulfilled those crafting orders, and the client is still not satisfied. The one pretty cool thing about it is they do offer some really good ones. You can find some two-handers and some pole arms where they're paying more than 100,000 upwards of 200,000 for the item. So it is a decent way to make money. I just think it needs to be refined a bit, and I think crafting orders could be something that's really cool.
A number of new facial expressions have been added as the default idle animations for NPCs based on their traits and relations with you. From now on, you should expect to be met with warm smiles from friends, indifference from strangers, and utter contempt from enemies.
All I'll say is, okay.
We all know that one of the most important parts of the game is how your character looks, which is why 3 new battle crowns have been added in 160 for you to strike fear and awe into the hearts of your enemies through your sheer gloriousness. Or at the very least, it lets them know that you're worth taking alive. And finally, taking alive.
I do have to say, for some reason, I like the way that my character looks. And even though I want to get the best items available, I don't know why I'm like that. Maybe because I'm looking at my character all the time, and just because of the person view that I'm in, but I really do like the aesthetics of looking at my character. So I guess the more things that you can put into the game, the better overall.
And finally, Custom Battle was updated in 160 with the option to select individual troop types to spawn in each formation, allowing you to further customize each battle to your liking.
This is something personally for me that I find very exciting. And the reason why is because there are quite a few things that I would love to test and that I do plan on testing. So being able to have the ability to go ahead and do things like this is really quite exciting for me in the future, being that I do a lot of testing. So for me, this is really exciting.
And that's about it for Development Update 8. Please let us know what you think of the updates in the comment section below, and remember that you can always head on over to our forums if you need any assistance or if you want to leave more detailed feedback. A link can be found in the description below. Thanks for watching, and we hope to see you again next time.
All in all, I'm going to say not terrible. Not exactly what I was expecting. I would really have I know they did cover the terrain system, and we really haven't heard about it. We're hoping to have that in 161 or 162. We're really hoping to get that. Nothing that really, though, stands out and I think really solves one of the biggest problems with the game, and that is the late game. I still think that is one of the biggest issues that Bannerlord has, and the fact that the late game is just so tremendously boring and a grind. So, not seeing anything like that is a little bit of a downer, and I hope they're really not gonna leave it to mods. It's been a long time since they've had a developmental update, and in fact, I think this is one of the longest stretches in between a development update. So I was hoping for a little more. So while I'm not over enthused about it, I'm not going to say that I'm depressed in any way about it either. So let's just hope we can get a few better things to come and we can get some more hot fixes in 1.6 so we can really get going on this. As I figure that they're close to being done with 1.6. And I do think 161 is around the corner depending on how testing is going. So I will see you guys later. As always, take care and thanks for watching.